Welcome to the basics of phone and virtual interviewing. Our objective here is to cover the best practices for phone and virtual interviewing. Now, I'll be touching on some face-to-face stuff, but please sign up for our webinar, Interviewing Basics, for more on that topic. We hold it regularly. It's also on our YouTube channel. Our goal by the end of this session is for you to be able to execute these steps for your next phone or virtual interview with your target organization. So not just any organization, but a target organization, an organization that's calling for who you are, your transferable skills, your passion, your forward trajectory. My name is Brendan Schneider. I created this webinar for MassHire Metro North Career Center Action for Boston Community Development. Please request permission of use and cite this as a source document if adapted or used as a handout of any type. Some information about me: I'm a workshop instructor and CPRW, and I've been writing and delivering job search curriculum for multiple years now at MassHire. But more importantly, I started as a job seeker just like you. I've run that maze before. I know how important it is to indicate how you are a match. And go ahead and copy that word down, match. That is the most important word in job search. We need to indicate through the whole hiring process how we're a match, not just to the position, but to the department, to the organization, to the business sector. We especially do this during the phone and virtual interview since it's so early in the hiring process. I'm also a professional storyteller. I've been touring all over New England for years now as a professional storyteller. Storytelling and the job search are absolutely linked. We need to tell the story, our story, as it relates to the needs of that hiring organization. And more on that in a little bit. I'm also an extremely thankful husband. My wife and I are parents of we affectionately refer to as weather systems, our children. Sometimes they're rainy, sometimes they're sunny, but they are always unpredictable. All right, enough about me. On to the topic at hand here. Here's what we'll be covering. We'll talk about the types of phone and virtual interviews. Talk about research. That's pivotal. What goes hand in hand with research is getting ready for that interview and getting your room ready as well. We'll talk about video conference preparation and your delivery during the interview. Okay, so when it comes to an interview over the phone or through a device of some kind versus a face-to-face interview, can you name the two big differences? So pause the video for a second, give this some thought. What are the two big differences? Well, first of all, face-to-face equals in person, right? Same place, same time, all five senses in the room. So be careful with the aromas, cologne, perfume. Well, with the phone and virtual interviews, it's not in the same space and often not at the same time. So some communication will be lost. Be as clear as possible to compensate for that loss of the other senses. Now, there are studies out there that say that body language makes up 90% of what we're conveying. 90%. Keep that in mind during the phone interviews. Sound upbeat, be engaged, be curious. Second, a phone or virtual interview is usually the first interaction. So they're thinking, do you match your resume and cover letter? And you're thinking, do they match the job description and their web presence? And we're going to be covering research in just a few minutes here. But first, let's go over the types that you can expect generally before that face-to-face interview, and in some cases, in place of. All right, we've got the phone screen, usually a fast call. We're talking roughly 15 to 20 minutes. This is generally with a recruiter, either in-house or from a firm hired by your target organization. Now, the conversation will center on five main topics. First, the job description. Chiefly, how your transferable skills and how your forward trajectory match the job description. See, there's that word again, match. Next, the organization itself, how your values match their mission statement, how your values match their culture. Next, the highlights of your resume. So not a rundown of everything. Pinpoint the professional accomplishments that directly relate to the vacancy at the target organization, your matches to their needs, your unique value add. Next, your current or last position, why you're leaving that position, or why you left that position. Simply why it's no longer a match, right? Why it was a mismatch, but always circle back around and quickly to why this target organization is a match. So maybe you can say something like, I find that I'm out of step with my current organization because the emphasis of my position has become more about the quantity of calls made per day and less about the success of each call. In my research, I found that this organization has been commended for its emphasis on customer care. That's a mission I can get behind. Now, the last topic to prepare for, of course, is your salary range. Now, when it comes to the salary question, this early in the interview process, you'll want to deflect. You see, because it's still too early for salary specifics, and there's still too much competition. They don't know how much of a match you are yet. And frankly, you don't know about the position and the personality of the organization yet. Ideally, at this stage, deflect. Stick with ranges, ballpark figures. You can say something like, if we decide that I'm the right person for the job, I'm sure we can agree on the appropriate salary. Right now, the range for this type of position in this area is in the ballpark that matches my skill set. You see, deflecting puts it back in their court. It shows that you've researched. So, research. Now, more on research in a few minutes, but for now, know that online you can look up salary deflection statements for some good ideas on how to field and deflect the salary question, especially this early in the interview process. Now, knowing these 5 topics is also how you prepare for the next type, the phone interview. But now, it's a longer, more in-depth call. We're talking roughly 25 to 30 minutes. Generally with a recruiter or hiring manager at the target organization, but it could be a member of the team. This conversation will be informed by more research and any previous interactions with that target organization, such as the phone screen. Now, over the phone, we only have hearing, right? I mean, there's no sight, there's no nonverbal cues. So for phone screens and phone interviews, every once in a while, be sure to ask, does that answer your question? Next, we've got the virtual interview. We're still going to prepare for our same 5 topics. Now, this interview is going to be roughly 30 minutes. I keep saying roughly with these time ranges because it's never an exact science, right? The conversation could be going well, so it's going to be a little bit longer. Or they've already made the decision, so it could be a little bit shorter. But roughly with these estimates here. Now, like a phone interview, this virtual interview is usually led by a recruiter or hiring manager at the target organization, and maybe a few of your team members. But now, of course, everyone can see each other, right? So technology is playing a key role. We're going to get into how to prepare and set up for this one in a few minutes. But the last type of, say, non-face-to-face interview we've got is the one-way interview or the asynchronous interview. I've heard it referred to as the digital, robo, or on-demand interview rather. Here's how this one works. The interviewee receives the questions from the target organization either before the interview or via the video during the interview. You, as the applicant, record your answers with a webcam in real time. Then the recruiter or hiring manager reviews your replies at a later date. Now, we're still going to prepare for our same 5 topics to illustrate the match. Now, specific to the one-way interview, know that how much time you'll have to prepare your answers, how much time you'll have to record your answers, and the number of times you can record your answers, or even if you can record, and the due date of when answers are sent back, it's all up to the interviewer. So this is why we have to be as prepared as possible. Now, that was a lot to review. So let's take a look at it again. The phone screen usually runs about 15 to 20 minutes, usually conducted by a recruiter. The phone interview runs about 25 to 30 minutes. It could be held by a recruiter, hiring manager, or the target organization, or a member of the team. For these types of interviews, you'll want to periodically ask, does that answer your question? Because we're only dealing with sound. With the virtual interview, everyone can see each other. And with the one-way interview, you get the interview questions ahead of time, answer on camera, and send them back to the interviewer. For the virtual and one-way, you'll want to make sure that the right software is installed ahead of time, which we're going to get into in a little bit. For each of these, be prepared to talk about our same hot 5 topics: the job description, the organization, the matching highlights of your resume, your current last position, why you're leaving that position or why you left the position, and your expected salary range. Use what's discussed in each interview to build on what you talk about in the next interview, building all the way up to the in-person interview. Now, our next topic, pivotal, research. Research, research, research. Each of these websites on screen right now are invaluable. First of all, LinkedIn.com. Absolutely. Follow the company and research who you'll be interviewing with. Next, Glassdoor. With Glassdoor, you've got to sign on with Google, Facebook, or an Apple ID, and every 12 months, you've got to submit a review, but that review could be anonymous. The review can be on salary, it could be on an organization itself, it can be on an interview itself. Often, users will post interview questions that they fielded during the interview. So what better way to prepare for your interview than to see the road that other interviewees have crossed? Next, Career Bliss. A lot of times if I can't find an organization on Glassdoor, I'll look for that organization on Career Bliss. No login necessary, no reviews necessary. Often we'll find salary information and company information on Career Bliss as well. FairyGodboss.com is written for those who identify as female. I identify as male, but I like going on to FairyGodboss.com because I feel like different perspectives is important when considering an organization, when considering my match that's out there. Yelp. People laugh when I bring up Yelp for company research, but hey, people have Yelped restaurants, they've Yelped museums. Maybe folks out there have Yelped the organization that you are going to be interviewing with. JobInterviewQuestions.com. I love this website. JobInterviewQuestions.com allows you to put in a particular position type, and it will generate topics and questions for you to practice beforehand, almost like batting practice before a baseball game. Love JobInterviewQuestions.com. Over here on the right for salary research, onetonline.org is one website that's brought to us by the U.S. Department of Labor. You can put in the position type that you'll be interviewing for, perhaps it's medical assistant, and it will generate a summary report showing all of the knowledge, skills, and abilities that one needs to perform at an average level for that position. It will also show employment trends and salary ranges based upon your area of the country. You see, salary is often dictated by the area of the country that you're in. So a medical assistant in, say, the Boston metro area would be paid differently than a medical assistant in, say, Topeka or around Fargo or Honolulu. And Own It Online can help us get there. The ladders.com, another great website. Many types of searches by current compensation and desired compensation, primarily for positions that are paying $100,000 per year or above. Salary.com and Payscale.com I regard as the granddaddies of salary research online, but with good reason. They've been around with good reason. They have some great data. On salary.com, you can search by job title, keyword, and location. Now on payscale.com, you've got to create an account, but once created, you can price a job for free. So how many do we have here? We have 10 websites. Imagine if you spent just 5-10 minutes on each of these websites before an interview. Imagine the wealth of data that you'd have ahead of that interview. And remember, research the target organization's website too. Find commonality to prove you are the missing puzzle piece of the organization's big picture. Now, research goes hand in hand with our next topic, getting ready. The first thing you'll need is time. You get the call, they're interested in interviewing you. Ask them how long you should allot in your schedule for that interview. Then make sure you've got, say, an hour on each side of that length to prepare and take down notes afterwards for how the interview went. That's super important. Next, train your ears, particularly for virtual interviews. Get used to the sound of your own voice. Now, you can record yourself. Most cell phones let you do this. Also, there's a site called Udly, which tracks instances of a vocal filler. Know what I'm saying? Any type of filler we put in there in place of silence. And here's the URL for Udly. Next, we want to train our eyes. Again, for virtual interviews, get used to seeing yourself on camera. You can speak in front of a mirror. Cell phones can be used for this too. Record yourself. Now, most, if not all, laptops have cameras built in, right? Turn it on and get used to delivering those interview talking points to your face looking back at you. Next, dress for the interview. You might be home, but dress like you're in the office. Justify the interviewer's time. Have respect for the interviewer's time by dressing for that interview. Now, as I mentioned earlier, getting ready goes hand in hand with getting that room ready. Take a good look at this guy. What's wrong with this picture? And it's not just the face. Go ahead and pause the video. Consider this for a second. I look like a sea creature, don't I? And no one ever wants to hire anything from the sea. Ah, now that's more like it. Less distraction in the background. The face is more centered. The lighting is better. And there's a smile. Don't forget the smile. That's pivotal during the job interview. If your job search isn't making you smile, you have to get a new job search. Okay, let's get into some more specifics about the room that you'll be interviewing in. First, you'll need quiet. No dogs, no TV, no nosy neighbors, no kids, no construction crews, no noise. Just listen for a second. It's nice, isn't it? Easier to think. Exactly. Now you can focus. Next, display a reminder to smile. Have a picture of family, a significant other, friend, or a pet close by. This is going to remind you to smile. Next, make your space professional. Set that room up as professionally as possible because you're inviting your target organization into your space. Think of the screenshots of my mug a second ago. Be sure your space is neat, tidy, no distractions behind you. Good lighting, no shadows, and enough room for your elbows, and a pad of paper for taking notes. Next, hack your space. By this I mean have the job description, your resume, your cover letter, and a paper and pen for notes right in front of you. These post notes here in this picture, the one on the left could easily be your resume, right? The one on the right can easily be your cover letter. So you're not looking down, you're looking out. And the interviewers don't need to know that that information is there because it's behind the camera. So you're hacking your space. You can reference the information and look right back into the camera. So, as a recap, we need a few hacks to customize the room for an interview. Your space should be professional with nothing in the background to upstage you. Have something off camera that's going to remind you to smile and Seek out that quiet. Now, as software goes, when preparing for that video conference, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, GoToMeeting, Cisco WebEx, and especially Zoom are among the most popular right now. Whichever your target organization uses, be as familiar as possible before the interview starts and know how to navigate to the interview. So let's take a look at an example. When you get the email from the target organization, copy or click the URL that's included. If you copy it, paste it right here. Then, of course, press enter. Before the day of the interview, click here to download the application onto your machine. Now, I'm using GoToMeeting here, but they're all roughly about the same with these steps, and downloading the application is a part of that. Once you download software onto your machine, you should be able to test your volume and your screen resolution. If there's any issue with the software, get back to that target organization right away. And this is why we do this step before the day of the interview, to allow for a fix or possibly another interview format altogether. Now, just before the interview, within like 5 minutes of the interview, click here to activate the software. I think of this as walking in to the virtual interview space. Then click here to unmute your microphone. Then share your camera by clicking here. Now they can see you and everything else in your space behind you. So remember what we went over a few slides ago about preparing your space, right? Hacking that space, super important. Next, we've got your delivery during the job interview. Nervousness is an ally. Absolutely. Nerves keep you alert, attentive, sharp. What you don't want is nervousness in the driver's seat, because then it's stress and fear. We keep all of that at bay with research, knowing the connections between the target position, the target organization, the target business sector, and how your experience and professional trajectory matches into each. See, there's that word again, match. And remember, smile, stay friendly, stay easygoing. You are interviewing them too. Next, be comfortable but attentive. Sit up straight, no laying down, no comfy couches, no water beds, no eating, no yawning. Be alert, no distractions. I like this guy's background. There's no distractions, but without a flat surface beneath that laptop, if he so much as stretches, let alone gestures while making a point, it's going to seem like an earthquake hit his place. If possible, try standing. The energy flow is better. Next, let them lead. Don't ever interrupt. For the phone interviews, you won't see anyone, right? Give it a second before answering a question. It shows that you're thinking about it. And never underestimate the power of the pause. But even for virtual interviews, where you'll see each other, you're still not in the same space. And sometimes with this technology, there's a lag. Don't step on anyone's toes. Remember, let them lead. This is a dance. It's a back and forth. After an interviewer asks a question, you can always ask a clarifying question. Something like, so if I understand the question, you're asking about ... right? What they're asking about. When you're through answering the question, again, you can ask, does that answer your question? This shows that you're finished, or you're asking if they like more information, and you're hitting that tennis ball of conversation back to the interviewer for the ace. All right, a few more final points here. First of all, for phone interviews, practice back to back with someone. Grab 2 chairs. You sit in one, your friend sits in the other, back to back. It's a good way to train your ear for what you can't see. And ask yourself, does it feel like the speaker is in a rush? Does the speaker seem bored or engaged? Can you hear them smile? For virtual interviews, practice with a mirror. Have phone numbers handy in case of a connection loss. Next, use accomplishment statements to answer questions. So someone asks a question about a past challenge, indicate that challenge, indicate the action that you took, indicate the result, preferably in quantifiable form, and how solving that problem relates to how you're going to solve their problems with this hire. And of course, have questions of your own. Absolutely. Ask them about their organization. Ask them about the research. Show that the conversation in your mind is continuing by asking them clarifying questions. Now, you can also check out Interviewing Basics, that webinar on our YouTube channel, for more on accomplishment statements and questions. I'll be detailing how to navigate to our YouTube channel in just a little bit. Next, download the software as soon as possible. When the target organization provides the instructions to download the software, download it ahead of time as soon as you get it. Don't delay. And absolutely do not wait until the day of the interview. You see, unless it's for an IT or technology position, our technical know-how isn't exactly being interviewed. We are. If there's an issue with what they sent, you'll want to contact them right away. But of course, you can prepare for this technology. You can use YouTube for tutorials. You can put in, say, Zoom interview for PC 2026. Study, study, study. Don't let this recording be it. Me, I'm just a guide. I'm a navigator. You are the pilot. Frequently fly to different and additional resources. It's your job search. Again, you are the pilot. And after the interview, strongly assess. What were their answers to your questions? What was the mood like? Was this someone you could work with? Did they seem like your people? Did you get a sense that they were listening? Were the questions easy to answer? Were they hard to answer? Why? How was the person dressed? That could indicate dress code. Did they seem rushed? That may offer insight as to the current corporate culture there. And the most important thing you can do before, during, and after that interview, say thank you. Absolutely. Match is the most important word in job search. Thank you is the most important phrase in job search. Send individual thank you emails to everyone you interviewed with and mention in each email any interesting points that person made during the interview and answer any questions that you couldn't during the interview. That's going to seal the deal that not only were you engaged during the interview, but you still are afterwards. Please join us for upcoming sessions. You can go to massHireMNcareers.com/events. Once there, you can access our calendar of virtual workshops. And on behalf of all of us here at MassHire Metro North, thank you very much for watching today. Stay tuned for more. You can visit our website, lower right-hand bottom of the screen, www.masshiremncareers.com. Our resource page has links to some great job search sites out there. It also links to our YouTube channel, which has an assortment of our pre-recorded technology and job search webinars, including Interviewing Basics, which I mentioned a short while ago, which focuses on the face-to-face interview. This session is on there as well, of course. On screen, you can see a shot taken from the contact page of our website. Please contact us for assistance. Until then, I wish you maximum luck on your job search. Thank you very much for watching.